Yeah, welcome to the tea shop.
Howdy, welcome.
Redbeard and Redbeard.
So today we're working on this every year, Rick. 18 to 25 Model TT.
I started restoring it probably 10 years ago, and this is as far as I got. So what's under the pigeon poop?
Well, what's underneath the pigeon extra there would be... Yep.
Let's start with the fun part, the trip bed here.
Yeah. So,
Before hydraulics, they use gravity. So, here's your hinge, and here's how they over center it. That's in front of the center of the weight of center of gravity.
you got your old trip lever here. Give her a yank. And over she goes. I strongly suggest you don't put your finger anywhere it don't belong.
This one's got some custom dual wheels. Those are early 40s Ford hubs. There's 3 of them stacked on top of there, each other.
Let's see here.
Tell them about the Warford. That's something special.
Oh, yeah. So they've got a 3-speed Warford transmission, auxiliary transmission to help. You had an under, over, and a direct gear here to help. Well, help this little anemic 20 horsepower Model T engine pull this sucker up the hill load full of gravel. And then when you're empty, and you throw that sucker on over and overdrive there, you probably cruise right along with a standard T, about 30 or so mile an hour.
Okay. So today we're going to try and get this thing running again. We're going to take the bed off, and we got this tow truck body we're going to play with. We'll get in the better light later on and discuss if I overpaid for it or not.
Yeah, it's a beautiful chunk of scrap there you got.
It's got a lot of history welded onto it.
It's got a lot of history.
I mean, what were they trying to pick up where they bent it? Need to add that.
Fat chicks from the bar.
PG-13.
Yep. All right, bigger gals that were well endowed.
The 2 reasons I quit playing with this was it needed a radiator and a battery carrier. I built that last night. It looks worse in the daylight.
At least you're honest.
So from the factory, we know this is an 18 frame because it's not pre-drilled for electric start, which they started in 1919. There'd be holes here for the starter button. So we're going to hide a couple modern things in there so I don't have to drill that frame out. And we'll pull this off and we'll show you how to get it running.
Alrighty, so what we're going to do here, I'm going to start taking that hood off and get that radiator pulled off and kind of walk you through a quick little deal on how to do that. Well, my centering stick here is not centering very well. There we go. Alright, pull the radiator, you need 9/16, not 9. Start there. It's always good to have your pile of wrenches just in the way, you know. Scarrel over help. So, let's go ahead and undo this rod here. Maybe over here there we'll figure out how to fast forward through all my shenanigans here. I don't think you want to hear me just loosen this. Very slow process. We're going the wrong way, folks. Right's not always right. You can always pull your handy dandy hip pliers off here too to hold things.
Every size wrench. We're making you shirts and everything.
Every size wrench. adjustable hammer, you know, all the above. So we get that loosened like that. Oh yeah. We're getting her. We're getting her fixed. Oh, now we're not moving. Y'all come here often? Takes a minute. Golly.
That's why I had a remote, I was turning it on and off.
We're getting it figured out here. Alright, there we go. We just do that. Now, you get your backing nut off there. Going for a ride. See a lock nut right there against the firewall. Keeps this rod from rotating here, and it'll also keep it from vibrating loose, because you know these things were unbalanced. Rows are rough and just come apart. Yep. There we go, just like that. Now that undone, you can rock her forward a little bit. Hood pops loose, and like that. Alright. Next step on hog tying this chicken, you can do your shroud, or radiator surround. What the hell is this?
You had to ask.
Yeah.
Radiator shell.
Shell, not surround, not shroud, shell. Radiator shell. So you got a bolt nut on each side, supported with a spring that holds the things in there. It gives us a little chance to flex a little bit. You can do those, and this puppy comes right off, theoretically. Alrighty, so we took the rod off, took the hood off. Now I went ahead and undid these bolts, these nuts off these bolts here, took the cotter key out, and taking these loose here. And so I'm going to show you something kind of cool here. I didn't think was even a thing until I got to playing with these. Come on. It's mine. Give it back. Let it go. That's going to require two hands, folks. Hold on. Oh, yeah, I'm sure you guys are getting sick and dizzy off that ride. Rather than going to Six Flags to pay for that roller coaster. Oh. Good buddy here apparently likes zip ties. And,
Well, I'm pretty good at zip ties and duct tape. You got good with gum when you had it in the good years.
alright. Okay, here we go. So, I'm going to do those nuts that hold this support, or this surround. No?
Shell.
Huh?
Shell.
Shell. Golly, folks, we're getting all sorts of confuzzled here. So take that shell off, tuck it to the side gently, and then undo the clamps, which thankfully we had a handy dandy screwdriver right here. Undo these here clamps. Oh, what's really cool is when your hose clamps, the old nut that goes on the back side of these old ones starts rotating, and you just sit there and you feel like you've been screwing for days and you ain't gotten anywhere. It's a tough time. Alright, cool. That comes in there. Got this one down here. Now, some of you may be asking, did I check to see if this is already drained and all that? No, that's going to be a surprise. We're going to figure this one out later. momentarily. Alright, well, just a second, folks. Okay. The moment of truth after, using your work glove here. We have rust. Lots of it.
Should have been drained.
And just like that, it comes right off. So you strategically hook that to the side. Now, one of the things I found interesting about these tees, the more I play with them, is their the way they did their radiator mounts, which I wonder if I can get this sucker out, or I'll bring you along for the ride here. All right. So it had a spring-loaded bolt here in the bottom. Let's see if we can focus there. Spring-loaded bolt, square tab, all that good stuff. They're kind of half thinking ahead. Then they'd put their lower little decorative piece on there, and they'd have this thimble right here. So your thimble, of course, goes on right there. Or actually, take that back. You put your spring on, then your thimble, and of course that sticks up like that. And then you put your radiator on, you put your shell, your grill shell, on top of that. You take your little top hat here, put it over there, and that just kind of cinches it all down. You put your nut on with the cotter key in, call her a day. But yeah, that's kind of a rough step-to-step way to take your hood and radiator off. All right, I'm going to show you guys some things that we've learned along the way here. Always check your fan and make sure it's in good shape. That belt's obviously seen better days. Actually, everything's seen better days on this thing, but hey, we're going to run it anyway. So, something to check. Always make sure your bolts that hold everything are tight. This one wants to walk a bit. And you want to check your play here. What they used to have was a plug here, and we ended up putting a grease zerk in there to grease the hub for this fan. But we've learned in the past, not in a very nice way, is you want to check the blades of your fan to make sure that they are in decent shape, not fatigued, not cracking out, because you'll get this. This will happen to you. And it happened to me on my Roadster pickup, is that it fatigued, snapped right off, and it sent this little awesome thing, projectile, right into my radiator and poked a hole in that. So then I had to get real fancy with some brazing rod and goober her up. And when that didn't work, I JB welded it shut. And when that didn't work, we just looked the other way and just keep adding water. But yeah, that's something we've learned along the way. You always want to keep this grease, which this one is pretty. There's just a slight play in it, but she'll wobble till she won't. Well, that's start on that.
Are you recording? Well, welcome back. Jabberjaw went on a parts run. So I stole the starter out of this thing I don't know how many years ago. So I have to get it stuck back in and flush out this motor. So why he's not here, he thinks the pirate names are silly. So you guys want to help come up with a pirate name for him? He is a quarter Native American. We could do a Native American name too. The name he wanted to use would make everybody stop watching us and go watch Wolf Creek Pass. Some nights I'd rather do that. Why'd my screen go dark? There it is. The starter goes in here like that. This is the easy part. The hard part's getting this Bendix on. So we'll do that in a minute. I don't know how they did thousands of these every day in the factory. I think they'd have a regular bolt in here, but they have to use screws. Imagine doing this for 8 hours a day. Fitting in there right. Yeah, occasionally you see the meme that Henry Ford started the 8-hour workday and everybody's mad at him. Before that, you're expected to work 10 hours a day for 6 days a week.
We'll be back when this is in. Well, welcome back. I found my problem. This is a starter we got in a collection of Model T parts we bought. Come on, focus. Somebody went after it with a hammer. Hear my fingernail catching? So I'm going to have to do some grinding. It does turn over. I tried it with the battery, but I don't know if it's weak or... You never know with these things. It took a little work with a file, but I got the starter in. Our starting system's now complete. I hid my solenoid under there. And I'm converting this to 12 volt negative ground. So from the factory, a Model T would have been 6 volt negative ground. And for some reason in the Model A's and newer, they switched to positive ground for a while. It's actually really easy to go back and forth. You just have to polarize the generator. The starter doesn't care, it spins the same way. The coils don't care. The magneto actually produces AC voltage. So what do you think? Should I just drilled this frame out and made it like all the rest of them? Or is this a better idea, preserving that this could be an 18 or 19 frame? Really wouldn't change the value. So let's test it. See if the starter spins. I think it's this one. Is it not that one? No, apparently it's not that one. Alright, next we do the Bendix, which I gotta sort out parts, so. Okay, this is the Model T starter drive. So when the starter turns, it throws this gear down here on these threads, and when the motor starts spinning faster than the starter, it kicks it back out. And you got this spring to engage the shaft and kind of cushion. So it's always good to keep old catalogs around. This is a Max. And the Max are better because they have these nice diagrams. This is a really old one. I can't find my newer one. So since Max got bought out by Eckler's, I don't use them as much. I prefer Langs or Snyder's. Get some stuff from Bird Haven occasionally. So, does that help at all? Not really. The sun is wrong. So that's the end of our starter. This goes on here. I should have test fit it. The other end fit. Guess we'll be back when that's on. Well, we missed our deadline. We were trying to get this thing ready to tow cars for the demo derby. This Bendix has been fighting me for an hour. Oop, a little much. Now this is one of the hardest jobs your average Model T owner will have to do. It's called the Bendix cover. These screws will back out on you every now and then. You have to tighten them. I'm going to try Loctite these. I saw some headaches, but it'll probably create others when I need to work on the starter. So you put the gasket on. And the cover is slotted, so you can put 2 screws in it takes both hands, so I guess we'll come back when I'm done. Yeah, this isn't the fun project, and you have to hold your, that's how you get it to clear. You have to push your pedal in, then things clear. Well, here we have the finished product. Spins over, maybe a little too good. Well, good buddy's off watching the demo derby. I used to drive the demo derby cars, and I have a hard time watching them now. So I'm playing with the T. I don't know if we'll finish this tonight or see you in the morning. Well, now we've got Will It Run, 1953 Clark forklift. Owned this about 3 years. It sat about a month, and I don't know if it's going to start. This thing's rather temperamental. It does have the cutest little Continental engine. Remember, those pistons aren't much bigger than pop cans. Really? You never do that. Just 'cause you're on camera. Those run good once they get going. Now for the fun part, the clutch likes to stick. And I don't have brakes. So I'm going to go make backward circles until the clutch starts to work. Apparently the trick to starting this thing is the thumbing. There, we're recording.
Alright, welcome back to Cooking with Chuck. Oh, sorry, wait. Back to your register programming. Alright, cooking with Red Deer. I'm going to show you how to cook this goose. Ain't going to be a good one. You probably throw it away. But, here we go. Off with it. back for next time. Alrighty folks, attempt number 1 and mounting the crane body to the truck. Let's hope it goes well. 13 style. Folks, this is why you invest in quality equipment with good power steering.
Might go get her back stuck up on her.
On camera? Alright, so how to create a hernia, class 101 in session.
You're gonna hurt your back?
No, fuck you, come back. No, darn you, you come back. Ready?
Far away.
Slowly gonna release it now. Ready? 3, 2, 1, all yours. Okay, that's a misfire, folks. Here's how we deal with those. All yours. So let me hold your bolt. Come forward. Go the other way. Other way. Other way. Okay. Okay, turn around. Dance with her, Chuck. Dance with her. I know she ain't got pretty, but dance with her. There you go. All right, right there. Hold on to her. Act like you like her. Uh-huh. No, she ain't gonna go nowhere.
I want it to go somewhere.
Well, he wants to go somewhere. I don't want it to fall over on him. Go put your chicken. You want my pliers? Come over. Too far. Right there. We add more metal to it. Or
We mounted it on May at some point.
you have that LED lock. The lock in there.
Well, we're gonna have to do some creative thinking. So it's too dark. Guess I'm going to read it to you. It's a Hubbard manufacturing model number 5, number 227. Now from what I can find, Hubbard's pretty tough. This is in the T era. There's a power model for a Model A in 29. We thought it was fit on a T, which it will. We have a welder.
That's me.
And originally it probably was intended for a T, but it got moved to a newer truck at some point. So this, maybe we'll get rid of the light. These angle irons have been added, because at some point they bent these. That's been added to stiff it up. And they cut it, and it used to go straight up, and they lowered the angle. So we are in the market for a better one of these. That's why we're not painting it up right away. We're not sure what truck it's going to go on. We'll be back when we have a plan.
For a lot.
Uh-huh.
Bring your checkbook. To you.
Yeah. I wasn't recording, sorry.
Oh, good.
You want to pull that out?
No.
I think it's not that heavy, but this is pretty easy.
That's pretty easy. And it makes me wonder with another 4 or 5 foot of leverage out there.
And this is the light end.
Yeah.
We can take measurements now. Well, we gotta decide where we're putting it. Yeah, one-handed. Of course, I'm bigger than your average city person, but
Your average bear. And just like that,
it's all set up for us to get it running and all excited and forget about that part.
yep, the old Finger Getter 5000 here
OSHA approved.
is in its way. You know, if this actually came out, this would come around. It hurt my arm, and I would not.
Uh-huh.
But she's up off the ground, folks.
The safety latch is actually here and it's missing. Or there'd be a piece of flat iron that goes through and locks against the frame.
Someone thought that was a good idea. There's a chain hanging here. We'll find out in another episode why they put the chain here.
Uh-huh.
Maybe or maybe not. I don't know. Good luck.
Probably got something to do with these holes. Well, they wanted to add
Those
another
holes there. We got the chain here for it.
add another pulley maybe, I don't know.
Come in front of you.
Wait. Now go. You're good and pissed off.
Senor Barbaroja, coming from you. Sorry. Alright, folks. Senor Barbaroja, coming live from the tea shop. There we are with our Johnny Cash truck. Not so much. It's just one of every year. Every year truck. And we're turning into a tow truck. We currently have this sucker up in the air, testing out the tensile strength of a Harbor Freight ratchet strap, which, by the way, doing great. Okay. Now we're going to try and get this sucker started. Okay. With a lot of luck and a little bit of motivation, we should have this thing running hopefully 15 minutes or so, or less even.
Okay, we're
Next,
gonna do.
check spark.
Yeah, you're gonna be the motor, and I'm gonna try and get a picture of the coils working.
All right, ready?
Yeah. There was one. There's one. Messes with the camera. 2, or that was 3. That was 4. That's a good one. Go again. We got one more that hasn't fired. Yeah, we're missing one. You sober enough not to shock yourself?
Nope. What do I gotta do?
Get a jumper roll. Or actually,
Get my light and hang it from the ceiling or what?
did you bring them back from Texas?
My spotlight?
No, not that light. Okay. On a Model T, that is called a timer. And think of it as a cam position sensor that connects a circuit to fire your coils. So the timer wires are here. And to test the current, to test the coils, you can ground them out. Did you turn the key off?
He's on still.
I don't think that coil's any good.
That's 3.
This was, number 1 was never, number 1 is bad. What is this one? 3. That's a healthy one. I'm counting the spark plugs.
kind of close.
From left to right.
Left to right.
We had that one fire.
Yeah.
Let's not have connection up here. Maybe we got two bad ones.
No, we had one firing. We just didn't have four.
I can't get it to fire now.
Trying to think of it. Two. Three. Two.
Yeah, we only got two.
How the hell did we lose one?
We'll be back with the coil tester. Here's my coil tester my grandpa made. You got your contact points. Your hot wire goes to the bottom. Spark plug, your trigger wire. And all I had to do was sand. There's points in here, just like a distributor. I just had to shine them up and give it a little tap, and it started working. So now we got to check fuel on this thing. So we have a sediment bulb, and there's a shutoff up here that's hopefully not stuck. No, I got nothing. Let me go find a wire. Not the worst gas I've seen. Shut off seems to work. Carburetor's not leaking yet. Just for fun, let's see if this thing pops off. Oh, there we got gas. Carburetor's leaking. Alright, starting Model T, you're going to prime them. Pull up the choke. 1, 2, 3, 4. Really lucky. We can make it bark just to turn on the key. Oh, that's we got carburetor problems. Starting attempt number 2. Turns out it wasn't full of bad gas, it was almost empty.
So, start timing. Fuel there. Push the button.
I unhooked the battery.
You unhook the battery, folks. That's why we ain't getting nothing. So,
I hook up the
turn
battery.
off. Oh boy. You reach on down here. Put that sucker on. Give her a good wiggle. Cool. All right. Come repeat steps 1 through 3. Turn key on. Buzzing.
Still have carburetor problems.
No go, folks.
We may do that in the morning.
Shucks.
Attempt number 3. We stuck a wire down the main jet.
All right, here we go. Dos Bubba Rojas coming to you live. Ready?
Uh-huh.
Oh boy.
Do it more. Give her one more. Let's try that for fun. There's more. That was close. You had to give it time and to get it to run?
Here runs!
We have it. So it's got a knock like all of them. That's drivable. Yeah.
Alrighty folks, welcome back. So we got the wrecker unit mounted, and we had to make new mounts here because the cross member, we couldn't use the original bar that went across and use the mounts that it had on there before, so we had to make our own. Bubble gummed them on there, and then block of wood like they would have done back in. And then up front here we used some U-bolts off of the front suspension of an OBS Ford. And yeah, it's on there. It looks functionable. Now we're gonna give her a shot to see if she can actually pick up this pickup or not. And there's room, or you can see daylight underneath there. See if you can move it. There you have it, folks.
Now we need to build a tow bar so the unit being towed can't swing into the back of the wrecker.
Yeah, we're doing a little modifying of his tailgate there as we speak, but you know, that's alright. I mean, obviously this thing's seen better days. But here we go. Here's where we need to build in the safeties. You definitely don't want to sit there and smile and stay close to it when that happens, folks. Alrighty, well,
There we go.
there you have it.
When we get back, we'll be driving it. Well, good evening, friends. We're back. This is Good Buddies. One piece at a time pickup. And it started knocking. So we got to looking at this motor. We decided to take the head off. The rod bearings out of this one. That one ain't so bad. There's quite a bit of taper in the center two holes. Thought you guys might enjoy that. We were driving this around earlier today. This kind of shows how tough these motors are. They just keep going until they completely fall apart. And this one's got a knock, so I'm talking to the camera. I'm going to take this plate off and check the rods. Well, welcome back. As you can see, this motor's really meant to be rebuilt on the side of the road. And in looking for my knock, I have found that every one of these rods are loose. So we're going to have to scavenge and see if I can find 4 good connecting rods in my collection of stuff. Or our collection of stuff. Should do this in the daylight. So you can see camshaft, the oil line, timing gears. We can even change the main bearings without, the back one's tricky, without removing the crankshaft from the block. So I gotta pull this motor down, I guess. Hopefully you can hear me over my air compressor. We're gonna do Harbor Freight Sonic Cleaner versus Rusty Rods. Okay, so this was the worst rod. You see the Harbor Freight Sonic Cleaner did something. That was not bad. I'm going to go through our odds and ends and see if I can cobble something together. Focus camera. Yeah, focus please, camera. We get 500 subscribers, we'll buy a new camera. See if it'll focus on this. So this motor had a little knock, which for an old is relatively normal. You come under here, take the cover off, and usually it's one of the rods. Unfortunately, this one, if my camera was there, it would show you. Yeah, it was all four. Might have like a 16th, 8th inch of plate, all of it. This crankshaft is pitted. So back up a little bit, maybe, folks. Yeah. I don't know if you can hear my fingernail catching on that. Yeah, I'm working on it after we got running. Get my arm in the right place. You realize this block is cracked. 1, 2, I found 3, one in the back. So I'm not sure if I should do some sketchy things with that one. We got a pile of engine blocks over here in the corner. That one's probably our best candidate on the shelf. I don't know if I should bucket build the motor or sketchy build this one. We're going to pop the head off here and take a couple out, and I'm going to measure that crank to see how far off it is. No. You want a break? PG-13, honey? That's going to have to wait. Where'd my wrench go? So these are the Ford wrenches that would have come with your car. This will do your oil and your spark plugs. This will take off your wheels and your cylinder head. Kind of a handy combination. So let's take off the spark plugs. Did I just break that one? Unfortunately, after 100 years, they get worn. They stretch a little bit. We have another one. Maybe these auto lights I got in here are the wrong size. These at least, right? You have the 15, 16 over there? No. I got it? You did take your spark plugs out, didn't you? 7/8. 7/8? No. You're an inch better than the other two? No. You don't have to pull the plugs, but generally you break one. The wrench will slip. And you're bleeding. It's no longer PG-13. Remember right, that's pre-25 and this is 26 and 27. The reason these wrenches are this long is that's how much leverage Henry Ford thought you needed to get these bolts tight enough without breaking them. You get the 5/8 in your impact. The battery somewhere? Okay. That's close to 5/8, ain't it?
Yeah.
If you squint and don't care about rounding things off. Playing that one. Oh, it's because I didn't tighten loose. these pistons up, measure my crank, and see if we can sketch a rebuild or not. So let me walk you through the process of what I'm doing. Because that block and crank have issues, we're just decided to slap together out of all this miscellaneous parts we picked up. I'm already starting to think of this thing, calling it rusty rod towing. Kind of a shame. This rod looks like it was brand new, but rebabbited, and somebody forgot it outside in the dirt. So I measure my crank journal. It's running at generally about a 15 thousandths undersize. Then I go through my collection of rods. And unfortunately, I try and keep caps matched, but I got miscellaneous caps. So we measure and find one that fits the journal. And we take the old rod off by the set screw in here. New rod. That's forward. Forward is up. Really should be doing this a little cleaner, but I have my doubts this is going to run very long anyways. There's a notch I gotta line up on the wrist pin with that set screw. Should be about there. A little more. I'm on the bushing. Model Ts, they didn't use lock washers. They're you're supposed to run safety wire through these holes. Somebody put lock washers in, so. It's lasted this long. We'll try it again. Gotta be careful threading things in. Everything's fine thread and they're not tapered cut, so be really gentle, especially with the oil plugs, because they're an odd size.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back. Last night old Redbeard got these pistons all worked over. Put new rods and, new rods and matched up caps and kind of Frankenstein that stuff together. And now today we're going to work on putting her in here. So these little pistons here are kind of unique, but they're all the same concept as current and newer vehicles. And so I went ahead and sprayed off the top there, keep it all clean. And then you want just a little bit of oil in there to, you don't want to go really into a dry hole. But, yeah. Yeah, so today, I'm going to get these suckers set in there. And so what I did, I just got the ring compressor on there, got it set in there, push it down just a little way. I don't know how loosey-goosey this sucker is, but I got her started in there at least, and I'll get into there and see if I can't pull the rod and piston down to where it needs to go and get her started, and we'll just work our way through the next three. And after that, I'll double check the head over a little bit and do a little bit more cleanup, and then we'll slap the head gasket on and get her going. So, here we go. Now it's probably easier to start with this first piston being actually probably down on the bottom dead center. So I should have done it to begin with, but I'm a little ahead of myself here, so here we go. Piston's in on top dead right there. We'll keep some steady pressure on it. And there's bottom dead center. Alright, and I'll go under there and attach the rod cap. Now something else I wanted to mention before, we use assembly lube on the bearings. We put her together. And I know I kind of got ahead of myself and forgot to mention that. I put on the rod itself, and I'm just going to do it on the cap too. Don't really want to start with a dry rod on a dry crank. Something I want to point out on these old Model T rods, and not even on the bearing cap bolts and everything, is they're set to have solder keys put in. They got a castle nut down there, and you get them down tightened up and whatnot. And, I don't remember the exact wording of the book we're using and what it said, but it says something along the lines of good and tight, but not too tight. So, you know, do with that information as you please. So this is number 2. I'm going to go ahead and work on that, but it's rinse and repeat all the way through. I'll come get you back when I get ready to install cotter keys on all the cat bolts. Alrighty, folks. we now have all four pistons and rod caps in. They're all four pistons and rods in with all four caps on, cotter keys on, and should look something like that. I know someone's going to get on there and say, oh, you can't do that, you know, you can't put this like that. Well, the reason I did is because, I mean, the castle nuts up there pretty high, and I'd rather be a little safe and sorry and use the head of that to keep it from spinning off than having it spin just a little bit up there. But whatever, what have you, it's on there now. We're going to run it. So, something else I kind of thought was unique on these old tees is, let me see if I can do this. Oh boy. Alright, we're back. Okay. So you know how most vehicles, when they have the pan, they have it threaded and went on into the oil pan or into the block? Well, in this case, these tees use a drilled out bar. And that's how they get, that's all pre-drilled and tapped and all your bolts there. And as you see, all the dirt and grease and grime falling off this thing, and then all the chunks that are falling, you hear tinking. Well, that's gravel there, but all the tinks you're hearing are either gravel or Babbitt off the old rods and caps there. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and get this all cleaned up. And then there's one for the front. It's a two-piece. There's one for the front, and then there's, come on now. Here's one for the back as well. So I'm going to work on getting that out of there and getting them both cleaned up, and then clean up the gasket surface area, and then I will show you guys a video on how to put it all kind of back together with those, because those will move, and it's best to have little guides there. So we'll be back. Alrighty folks, here we are back now. That's all essentially cleaned up, as decent as it's going to get for this time around. And usually what we end up doing is we'll take and put a gallon of diesel inside there and spin the crank over as fast as we can and kind of slosh it around and see if we can wash them, whatever we didn't get cleaned out of there, on down into the pan here, and then change the oil again and all that good stuff. So what we're going to do now is put the threaded pieces back inside the pan here, and it's kind of a tricky bugger because you got to deal with all the, there we go, that one's in. You got to deal with all the or deal with the crank in the way, and of course doing it one-handed is kind of a fun experience too, let me tell you. So we'll get it in, and just like that we got both of them in there. Now, earlier I was telling you about making studs, and all we did was take a 5/16 bolt by, I don't know what it was, 3-4 inches, cut the head off, grind off the edges there, and put it in there. And probably about the easiest way to do anything would be to get under here, line your holes up close, and thread your studs in. See, because if you try to do it without the studs, you know, this plate moves. And so it's nice to have the studs in there to help guide everything. And so there we go. Get the next one in. You know, rinse and repeat times 4. And then Same with these ones. Come back here about midway or so, and oh, gotta get them all lined up here. Same with over there, same thing. And then voila. The next you bring your pan up, or your inspection cover up, and with your gasket on there and put on there, and then what we like to do is take a little bit of silicone on your pan bolts here, and alrighty folks. Well, I got the bottom end all done underneath there. The inspection cover's all bolted back up. We got the gaskets and everything in place. Bolt heads are all silicone. We should be good to go. Next, we're going to tackle the head gasket and putting the head back on. Now, before you do all any of that, you're going to want to go in and chase your threads on your head bolt holes and everything. Make sure they're ready to rock and roll. And according to the manual that we have on these, they say to put a light coating of oil where the head gasket is going to mate to help it seal, and then also in between the head gasket and the head itself. Now I've already gone through and cleaned this off and then put some fresh oil on it. It's got a little bit of a sheen to it. I don't know if you can tell in the camera or not. Now we're going to go ahead and get this sucker placed. On some of these gaskets, they'll usually say top or head or something like that, or block. I'm not seeing it here, so we'll just make it look good, stick it on there. You also want to make sure when you put it on that it's not overlapping your bolt holes there. Let's see here. Alright, so you're going to make sure that your gasket's not overlapping your bolts or your valves. All your holes line up, everything looks good. Your water jacket holes all line up and are all good. Everything's all matching up. And we'll go ahead and set this head back on here. Now I've already pre-cleaned the head again, and it's all good to go. And we're just going to go ahead and set her on there now. Now on these trucks with the cab and the same with the cars and pickups and whatnot, you kind of want to put your back tube bolts, head bolts on already before you place it on there. They're just kind of a pain in the butt to get them placed on there when you have the cab on. You just want to get them lined up and start the bolts. Now, something I almost forgot. I'm going to drop of oil on each one of your bolts as you put them in there. I almost got ahead of myself there. And I'll wait. to, we'll just bring it down the shank of the bolt. There we go. Alright, let's see, bring you around at a different angle here so you can kind of watch the head bolt torquing procedure. All right. I'm going to cheat just to get these all down, but then we'll use the Ford provided wrench and torque them to how old Henry Ford would have wanted them torqued. We'll just get them all down. Yeah, I should cheat and just run them down with the little impact, but we'll just do this instead. Oh, give it back. It's mine. This is where a speed wrench would come in real handy. I got one here, so it's on the list of things to bring down. Let's see. These ones where they're up against that firewall, I don't want to hit these electrodes to this coil box and risk damaging them or cracking them. Let's run them out by hand. Come on. That one is gonna need some persuasion. What's funny is I chased all these threads and put just a squirt of oil on the threads, and we're still just want a fight going in, so maybe I didn't do a good job, I don't know. That's good enough for this one, because this is kind of the iffy motor, if you will, just because it's a cracked block and put together with some questionable rods and with questionable batteries. So here we go. Alright, now that you got all your bolts down, you'll come over here and you'll grab your wrench that Henry would have sent with you, with your truck, and you'll start right smack dab in the center at one, and you work out. So, it's like working out an old tube of toothpaste there. You want to start in the middle and work out so it squishes it out. So here we go, we'll just bring it around. That feels about right. And we'll go right, we'll get the middle done. We'll jump around. That feels right. Yep. Something like that. We'll get this sucker in there. Come on. Work. There we go. Yep. And then this one does need some persuasion. So we'll work this one in a little bit and then we'll get her on down in there. Here we go. Yep. All right. Now you come back to the center. And then you just jump around. It's funny how much more you can hand tighten some of these bolts and torque it down just a little bit. Yep. And you want to go in a star pattern. You want to go all the way around it. Come on. Let's see, we get this one already? No, we did not. That's next in sequence. And then was it this one? Yep. Jump over to this one. Yep. And this one. Yep. And then this one. Alright. Let me just double check this one. Yep. Yep. And then I want to go back to the beginning and just double check that and see it loosened up. We'll just walk through her again. Just want to make sure that they're retorqued, and then when you go on a drive, you'll probably have to retorque them again after a little run. Oh yeah. Let's see, then we went to that one, and this one, and that one. And then you just run around and give them a good little yank and get them back over in the spec. Alrighty, they're on there now. Now, we'll go ahead and put our spark plugs back on. And these are some wonderful plugs, I tell you what. But don't really want to invest in another plug until we know this motor runs, so we'll just put them back on. Wants to get away from good and snug. And good and snug. Just work your way through. Keep working. That's all good. And then we'll get our plug wires put on, and we'll give her a test fire. That's what we're going to do. So let's see here. I almost got a little carried with myself here. old Redbeard took these old plug wires off, and I wasn't paying attention to what order they came off. So, one good way that I found out to try is with your motor on top dead center, you want to, another good way to check out top dead center is either be spot on or 180 off. Is to take off your front wire again. Take out that plug. There we go. Yep, we're top dead center on one here. So, one cool way to find out which one's going to fire first is you come in here and you turn your key on, and it's that one right there. The buzz coils will go off, and so now I know that that one is on the second one, because it's all no matter how you wire it up. And apparently old Redbeard wired this up any way he wanted, I guess. So let's go ahead and install it on the deal here. Number one. You'll drop the nut and then you'll cuss yourself for a while as you try to find that sucker. Yep, we'll have to go down there and find that one here in a few. So that was purple. Alright, next red, and yellow, red, and brown. The yellow is the next one in firing order. That's one thing I'm going to have to go look up firing order again. I've already forgot it. I'm not very good at that one. So, I'll be right back, folks, and I'll also find my nut that I dropped. We'll go from there. Alright, folks. I got a timing order figured out. It's 1, 2, 4, 3. So I know there's some people out there have a fancy way of memorizing that, and you got me there. So, here's the next way to tell how to do it. So I showed you how to find spark on number one. And right now it's on it. You'll turn your key on, and you'll turn it till you hear the next buzz. There's the next buzz. If you look, that's that number 4 box over here, the farthest one to the right. So we'll come on back around here. Oh, took the key off too. You don't really want to grab that. You'll feel, you'll feel God laugh at you when you touch that one. So, you go and stick your wire on there. And all these wires are color coded, so you can, if you want to cheat, you can let you know which order or which direction it goes, because I always struggle at that. But if you look up here, let me get y'all to stand here. Come on. Give it to me. So, as you see, each one of these wires are color coordinated. So there was one, here's 2. So it's purple and brown. So we got purple, brown, next will be red, then this yellow. So 4 will be right here on this one. And 3 goes ahead and goes on over here to that one. And then she's all hooked up, so you go ahead and tighten up all your spark plug tops and your coil box wire electrodes there. And then I'm going to do that quick, and then we'll come back and get her to fire. Alrighty folks, so here we go. We got all our wires reconnected, spark plugs in, head bolts torqued, bottom pan's done. What I'm going to do first though is, with all that dirt and everything down below, I'm going to flush this out first with a little bit of diesel. And then after that I'll put oil in, we'll fire her off. And the diesel just helps wash whatever residue was done or was left over from when you had the pan off, you had the motor opened up. So we dump a gallon of diesel in there. Take our funnel off there so we don't catch it. And then just go ahead and spin her over here. I'm not cheap because I don't want to really get splashing that oil. So I'm just going to Alright, that should be plenty. Then I'll get back down below. This is where you take your multi-use forward wrench, supply T from Henry Ford. Go down here, you open up your drain plug. Alrighty folks, we got her all flushed out with diesel, and then we went ahead and topped her off with oil. And now Redbeard's here, he's going to go ahead and give her the magic kick. Maybe.
I think we're getting gas.
We're gonna check this out. We'll get back to y'all. All right, folks. Attempt 2. Here we go. Alrighty. Attempt number. Well, she runs. you have it, folks.
That was
Our,
retarded no throttle.
really, our thrown together out of spare bucket parts and
It's the Rusty Rod tow truck.
all right, we got the Rusty Rod tow truck here thrown together with the F-it motor because, you know, we don't have any F's to give. And she runs. Yeah, you might see a little bit of smoke coming off there. It might just be a little leftover oil I didn't get all cleaned off, but hell, we're up together, we're running.
Runs and doesn't knock.
So next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna throw a radiator on this sucker, we're gonna go around the block. Catch you here shortly. That'll work.
We come down. Well, time to find out if it will tow. No, we are not hooking to the axle. It is really easy to bend these Model T axles. Up. Should we just stick it in gear, probably?
Good, just like here.
Or somebody's gonna sit in there and make sure it doesn't roll into the back. Probably want it high so there's less swing. My cable got screwed up again.
Yep.
All right. I know it looks sketchy, but it come that way. You tried. First tow of Rusty Rod. Well, we're going to wrap this episode of the Rusty Rod Wrecker. Time for our victory dinner.
Torch up, folks. Come on down and join us.
Yeah, so after sitting 10 plus years, we got it running going. Kind of the roughest overhaul we ever did, but those rusty rods sure do sound nice. Please like and subscribe. There'll be definitely an episode 2 of this truck. There'll be an episode of putting in this Warford transmission into this pickup. We got to retrieve a truck that's 3 hours from home by Model T. And we'll probably do a Another run and drive home, 900 miles. So thank you.